Hello and welcome back to the Car Guy Coffee Podcast. This brew has been brought to you by our friends at Dealership Toolkit, M1 Data and Analytics, VinQ, and 321 Ignition. Please reach out to us if you'd like to know about any more of these solutionaries that we're brewing with. But let's get to the show. Let's brew! Brother, what brought you to the car business?
Well, I love the car business. I was actually saving up a lot of money to buy my own point. And I bled blue, right? I bled Chevrolet blue. I bled everything was Chevy at my house, and I believed it. I grew up with my dad. My old man had an old Chevy truck, and that's just who I was. But when my dad actually, what happened was my dad was diagnosed with liver cancer when I was 25 years old, and they gave him a month to live. And by the grace of God, he lived a year. He ended up passing away, but I left my job at the time and we started selling piñatas, man. We went and bought a big old Morgan box truck, diesel truck, and we were going to Mexico picking up piñatas, and we were doing good actually. And I really thought that he was going to be healed, but he ended up passing away. He just didn't make it. And I got depressed for a couple of months. That's when my son was a little baby. He was like 10 months, and I just took care of my son. My wife went back to work at Home Depot, and I saw an ad in the newspaper at the time. We still had newspaper. For those that don't know, it's a paper that you read.
Yeah,
and,
that's right.
I went there and I just asked God to give me a sign, man. And there was a scripture that said that those who wait upon the Lord will renew their strength. And I just felt that that's where I needed to be, and didn't have an idea what I was going to do. It just went there, and I was just Daniel. And of course, it's an adjustment period. But right off the bat, second month is when 9/11 happened. Chevrolet came out with Keep America Rolling, and I never looked back. One salesman of the month, salesman of the year, salesman of the year. This is back in 2002, 2003, making 100,000, which is equivalent to about $250,000 now, right? Because pretty much I was 20 something years ago. But I say that because I had a passion for sales, and I just loved it. But as I grew in this, I really learned the business aspect, reading financials and understanding people. And when I took a step back, I was like, man, I know more about business than I realized, because the car business is a beautiful thing if you treat it right, if you go in there with the aspect of what can I learn from this, because I wouldn't be who I am today if it wasn't for the car business. People always say, man, you sound like a car salesman. I'm like, great, because some of the most successful people in business are car salesmen. And second of all, I want you to tell me a business that survives without sales and without revenue. And when I tell them that, they don't know what to say. I'm not going to be apologetic for who I am, because that's who I am. And I don't apologize for my faith. And it's a good example. The other day we were in Clubhouse, and, Grant Cardone came in there, one of the rooms we were in. Beautiful stuff. And God put on my heart, say, I'm praying for this guy, because we all need God. Somebody messaged me from Paragon and said, hey, man, that was unprofessional. I was like, bro, I'm not going to be unapologetic, man. I don't care who you are. I said, if God tells me to speak, I'm going to speak. And I'm going to stand by who I am. That's just the truth. And then it's funny, right? When you act mature and you kind of step back and I just left it alone. It's amazing. I went back to my IG and I had like 5 more messages, because it just shows their immaturity of how they keep on trying to provoke you. But I've learned, right? This is for the leaders out there. Sometimes silence is golden, and maturity is just being quiet.
Those are some powerful words right there, bro. Seriously. And I love them. Very, very powerful, because it's true. People are going to hate. When you do something great, when you do something that's not the norm, but yet it's right, and it's right, nothing to be apologetic for. You know what you did. You know what was in your heart. You know that it was mature of you, and it was very mature of you not to respond back and get crazy with them, right? And you knew better. You already knew. They're trying to provoke, just like a bully in the streets. They try to provoke you. They try to hit you, or the keyboard bully that's online that tries to talk smack when they're talking to you when you're in the chat room years ago, right? I don't know if they still do that kind of stuff. I haven't been. They could talk really tough with the keyboard, but But you have to understand that's just words, and words they'll go through you, and they'll just let them go. The key is where you're at. There's only one person that you have to be accountable to, and that person is above you, and he knows. So as long as he knows, you're golden. And I appreciate that, Daniel. I appreciate you for sharing that. Grant Cardone's one of those guys that was a car guy that did some great stuff. Car guys are amazing, and being in sales is nothing to be ashamed of. And it's a matter of fact, it's what we all do, even as human beings. We sell. Period. Every single day, we're selling something. Whether it's selling you're selling whatever it is, you're doing that. When you're first dating somebody, or if you're when you're meeting a new friend, you're selling yourself. You're not in that provocative way. You're just selling yourself as in mentally. You're pitching yourself, and we all do that naturally. We don't even realize it. Mm-hmm. But the people that are really good at this business, it's a natural thing. We don't sit there and try to force the issue. We learn to make it our own, become the best version of ourselves. Understand that there's a process to the thing, but the process really is just a step-by-step guide of how buying a car goes or how selling anything goes, right? It's just there's just a way that everything goes. There's the way life is, the way we grow. We're born, then we become a toddler, then we become a kid, and then we become a teenager, and then we become a young adult, and then we become a grown-up, a parent, right? Maybe if you're lucky.
Well, Fred, I love what you said there, Fred, right? The customer is buying you before they buy any product, before they buy any car, any service, they're buying you. And if your energy is low, if your enthusiasm is low, if you're not smiling, if you're not, hey, welcome to ABC Motors, come on, thank you for our big sale. Every day's a sale day. Every day's a big day. But so many times I go into these dealerships and just the mindset, the culture, right? I've asked many GMs, well, what's the culture of your store? And they look at me like, I don't know. They don't say nothing. They don't know. Your store has to have a culture, because if you don't have a culture, that's the underlying, no matter what you do, the underlying issue there is the culture. If you create the winning culture, a great culture, a respectful culture, a culture that honors other people, the culture is going to take over and people are going to just buy into it. But so many times, many of these managers, they don't know how to create a culture, because unfortunately, right, on the defense of some of the sales managers and desk managers, they've never been trained. They've never been sent to a school. And by the grace of God, I had a great leader that I love with all my heart, Mr. Domingo Vara. He taught me, right, be a man of integrity. This guy's a multi-millionaire. We'd be going to lunch, right, because we're on the south side of San Antonio having Mexican food tacos, and he'd he'd stop, pick up the trash, not call a porter, not call anything. He would pick up the trash. And I would see this day in, day out, day in, month out, year in. So now everywhere I walk, I pick up trash. My kids go, Dad, why do you do that? Because it was instilled in me by a great man of God of integrity. Right. I cared about his dealership. He said, my dealership might be on the south side, but it's going to be a representation of who I am and who God is in me.
Boom. Man. I love it.
Ever since then, wherever I go, man, I ain't too good to pick up trash. I ain't too good to pick up trash.
That's actually great that you do that. And I preach that. Actually, that's something I preach a lot too. And when my salespeople walk by like an empty water bottle sitting or like a couple pieces of papers on the floor, I'm like, this is your home, bro. Do you not pick up trash at your house? Pick up trash here. Take pride in where you're at, because people see that. Your customers see that. You see that. Other salespeople see that. Be a leader. Speaking of that, and I love what you're talking about, because that's actually what my next question was going to be, is about mentorship. In this business, we all come up. In this game of life, we all come up. We have mentors. We have people who inspire us. I know you just mentioned somebody right there, but out of all the people that you've been touched by, people who've poured into you and gave you a little bit of love and showed you the way, who's been the most inspirational mentor for you?
Domingo Vara. He's an amazing man. Right? I was with him for almost 14 years, and we agreed to disagree. But now that I look back, it's like he was a father figure that I didn't have, that I needed at that season in my life. And like I said, he's a man of integrity. He didn't even go to college. He grew up. If you know San Antonio, there's a high school called Fox Tech. He's a graduate of Fox Tech, grew up in the car business, and he just worked his way up. And it's just a beautiful thing when you see what he accomplished. And he just really, the word he always talked about was integrity. Yes, if you walk in integrity, you don't have to worry when the banks look at your deals. And that just stuck with me, right? And there's many times that we pass on a deal that we could have jiggied, right? They don't know. But it's like, is it really worth losing a lender over a jigging deal? Because when I was running the dealership, I was the one rehashing a lot of the deals, because I hated finance, but I loved to rehash, right? I didn't love to spin the paper, but I could talk to the buyers and, hey, come on, give me a way to do this. But it's like never at the cost of the integrity of the store, because once you lose integrity in one area, you're going to lose it in another area.
Boom. That is, folks, listen to what he just said there. It's so key. One deal is not worth ruining your business. One deal is not worth losing a lender that can help you make 20 deals, right? Always lead with integrity. Man, that's my number one core value in my life, period. Has been since forever, man. I was in the Air Force. Integrity was one of the core values. I do martial arts. Integrity is one of our core values. Just period. I tell you who really pushed that on me, though, the most in my life, and I can tell you is my biggest mentor is my wife. she really threw that. I used to be a lying, scamming person. Not really. I wasn't that bad, but I would lie for sometimes for no reason. It was something, it seemed like, right. But then one day she told me, and she made it very clear. And my wife's the most honest person I know. It's unreal. I mean, it's uncanny. Like, there's not a word that comes out of her mouth that's not what the truth is, at least in her eyes, right? Yeah, sometimes it is with the left jab and an uppercut, right? But what I do love about that is that it helped me understand how important that is, and it is, because when your word is your bond, and when people really have to believe in your word, the moment that they can't believe your word, there's no longer any trust. There's nothing there. They're done. I mean, I could tell you, through my own experiences, when I got caught up in a lie, it took a long time to reverse that. Sometimes it never got fixed. And, and you have to understand that's your fault. That's no one else's fault but your own, because you didn't have the integrity. Integrity goes a long way. And to have that, man, I love that you have that from your mentor. I know you probably had that already, but to know that even deeper and to see that and to feel that, it's awesome. And it's true, because it's like you said, even when you take away the car business, you tell a story to somebody, you don't have to worry about covering up a lie with a lie, with a lie, with a lie, with a lie, with a lie. And that just keeps going, and it won't stop. So I appreciate you for sharing that very much so, man. And I'm so glad you had a mentor like that. And I'm sure that you are passing that legacy from him. See, that's what legacy is about, is getting a piece for people and sharing that. I know that he probably didn't even intentionally have a legacy left like that, but he's doing it. And then you're sharing that with other people. And today, folks, you all listening, pick up trash, make yourself. I know it sounds crazy. That's not the full story of it. You guys got to hear. I'm sure you guys hear the underlying part of that. It's to have pride in everything you do, to have integrity, to always do the right thing. And just when you see something like that, just do it. Whether it's trash, or you see somebody sitting there and they just look like they're not doing what they're supposed to do, or maybe they look like they're not in the mood they should be in. You go over there and just touch them on the shoulder and say, "Hey, how everything's going? Are you okay?" There's so many things you can do in life that are that way. Appreciate you for sharing that, Daniel.
No, for sure.
Connecting all of those dots, Fred being in the military, Air Force.
Hoorah.
You probably came through San Antonio, right?
I did.
You went through Lackland.
Lackland Air Force Base. Beautiful city. Loved it.
I ever went to San Antonio was to celebrate my son graduating inside of his basic training, and
BMT.
Seeing how that city honored people. They honor the military well.
Oh, yes,
they do a great job
it's
of
a big
honoring
military
the
town.
military. There, you're close to the Alamo. A lot of key things that are rooted inside of their approach to honoring people and those that are in the area. But when you go to the Riverwalk, it's not a dirty mess. I'm a New Yorker, so I'm used to seeing dirty messes, right? And the military helped me to understand how to go pick up something, clean it. You're responsible for this. And connecting the dots inside of the responsibility and the weight of the honor, because that's actually the translation of what honor means. For those of you that are scholars, do want to research core meanings of word. A man is worth double honor. That means double weight. If you honor your mother and father, which means not that you just obey them. It's one thing to obey them. It's another thing to truly put weight on what their words are. Okay, that's actually where the word weight comes in. Anyway, with honor, that means you give weight to that meaning, to that person. You give value to that person. And you described earlier the sack of potatoes, right? And I want to add to that, which I believe we're all here to add to each other, because you can get a function out of the potatoes, but the weight of unforgiveness, there's nothing useful about it. It's just a big bag of useless, dead rocks, right, that are just going to stop a stream someplace else. The things that we've been given are the talents we've been given.
Yep.
You've been given a measure, Daniel. I've been given a measure. Fred's been given a measure. We are each responsible for the measure we have. We're not the giver of it.
Yep.
It's someone else's. We've been given it. We have to be responsible with it. So whatever level of talent, whatever level of gift, whatever level of weight that we are trusted with, it is our responsibility to produce from it. And either we can produce greatly or we can bury it and see nothing come of it because of the weight of unforgiveness or the fear of what would happen if we lost it. You have learned many, 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 many hard lessons, I am sure. And I'm sure that there's no question that there was a lot of big revelation that happened inside of your life the moment you're finding out that your wife is threatened with this disease, to I'm giving up my entire source, what many people would say was my source of income, right?
you realized who your source was, and that was clear, right? So now it's just, what do I do with the source that's pumping into me, right? It's whatever job gives me money. You're blessed to have me collect your check. You know what I mean? Because the blessings of God come through you to get to me. And that's how everybody should feel in any situation that they're in. Yes. So, but you've learned a lot of lessons. You've learned a lot of hard things, and you've been given many talents, and you've been faithful to be fruitful with many of them. What has been the hardest lesson up to now that you've had to learn in your business and in your practice and in your pursuit?
Oh, that's easy, man. Surrendering. We don't want to surrender because of our ego and our pride. Wow. And really, when God went through that CEO president thing, I know I was laughing about it, making a joke, but in all seriousness, man, I had to surrender. And so many of us, our pride gets in the way, our ego gets in the way, and we don't want to let go. We don't want to surrender. But I'll tell you, when you surrender and you really just trust, right? We don't trust God because we don't trust ourselves. We don't trust our team because we don't trust ourselves. We don't trust our spouse because we don't trust ourselves. Whenever there's a trust issue, it's you. You're the issue. There's something that you need to resolve within yourself. And for me, right, from my trust issues came from being a little kid and just really my dad saying, hey, I'll be back. And he never came back that one day. And I remember that. But we don't realize that those little traumas, right, arrested development takes place in a child. And we oversee stuff like that because we don't understand the psychology behind it. Mm-hmm. And these traumas, as you're growing up, they stay with you and they affect your decisions. And I had a lot of trust issues, man. But the moment I really just kind of grew and really learned how to surrender and trust God, then I could trust myself. Now, like we put it this way, 2020 showed you who the real leaders were, right? The real leaders were the ones that stepped forward, took action. And I'm not going to use the word pivot because everybody uses pivot because you can pivot with the dumb old mindset still and not get anywhere. But when you really shift in your thinking and your approach, because the leaders that got scared and shrunk back, dealerships, businesses closed down because they didn't understand it. You found out who they were at the core. Right. And at the core, I was like, okay, well, I didn't know what I was going to do, but at the core, I said, well, he's my supplier. What do you want me to do? We started the podcast. Daniel Gomez Inspires, won Podcast of the Year. Sticker Shock Speaking Academy was born. And that's been like a mega, mega blessing in 2020, carrying to 2021. We've doubled our revenue. We've grown. And because of the podcast, now out of the podcast came 6 other products that we got. Now we're launching now we're launching podcasts for clients. We're producing podcasts. And now we're doing all these other things too. But because with that March 16th, when they closed the country down, I lost like $40,000 in paid speaking gigs. And I could have felt sorry for myself and said, what am I going to do? But I didn't. I said, God, what do you want me to do? I need something. You know, I'm not going to worry because I trust you. And those ideas came down and I received them. But most people, we receive them, Fred and Lou, but we don't act upon them. We don't act upon them because we're scared. And it's not just, it doesn't matter what size of business. God will give you an idea as a dealer principal, as a business owner. And we don't act upon them because, well, that's just the way we've always done it. And they stick with that. That's the way we've always done it. And then they never evolve, right? They never evolve. They never grow. And then the same dealership family group, there's one here in South Texas. I went to the Chevy store doing phenomenal. I went to the Dodge Point and it was like doom and gloom, but it's the GMs were too different, right? And it's amazing. You see who the real person is after, right? But think about it this way. We all have, just to say we have 5 tea bags in front of us and they're all different flavors. Well, you don't know what the tea bag flavor is until what? So you put it in the boiling water, you reveal the flavor of the tea. Mm-hmm. And in many people's lives, you don't know what type of leader, what type of manager or business owner they are until they're put in that boiling water and you find out who they are in the inside. That's when you find out when somebody is under stress, right? You find out who they are.
I mean, that's literally brewing solutions.
Man. Boom, right, yeah. And man, such great information right there. I mean, gosh, I really hope that everybody's watching that because, you know, what he just said is powerful. What he just brought up and how he put that together. Man, dude, you got me so pumped up and inspired.
I mean, he knows what he's doing, right? I mean, he kind of has a speaking academy
Yeah,
He knows a bit about what he's doing, right?
I loved how you,
So
you see something like, I loved how you said that, where you said, you had $40,000 worth of speaking engagements coming up, right? Because we all know that there was a lot of events planned for last year.
And then COVID.
And then swoop, canceled everything. So some people, I'm not saying all, some people would just give up. Oh man, my life's ruined. I don't know what I'm going to do now. But no, you put your hands in God and you were like, listen, obviously you have a new path for me. What is that path? Show me the way. You found that way, and you're going to multiply. And it's those speaking engagements. One day you're going to look back at and laugh and be like, look, I look what else I grew during that time. If I would have been to those speaking engagements, I wouldn't have this going on. I wouldn't have these other projects that I just started that the good Lord just said, hey, here it is. This is your opportunity. And you took it, man. And I love what you're doing, man. Gosh,
and there's a reason
you don't understand how much you inspire me.
Connecting with us at this time in our juncture in our lives.
Yeah,
it's key that these worlds are colliding in our souls.
Your words are really speaking to me right now, because there's a lot of things that I want to do in life, and they're very much speaking to me. We are definitely taking those steps. They're scary steps. But they're exciting, because I know I have faith. I also understand that, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. It's what I have passion for right here in my heart. I feel it. I know that somebody put that inside me, right? I know that I'm supposed to be doing something like this. Supposed to be, right?
Supposed to be doing this.
Right. But, I'm excited. I'm excited to talk to somebody like you. I'm excited to hear your story. I'm excited to hear all the stuff that you're talking about. I'm literally mentally just so focused on what you're saying, and I can't wait to just keep growing and just to implement things that you've done. And the thing is that what he's saying, folks, is take chances, but take the right chances. Understand that you have works out there that you can do, that your life isn't just what you're doing now. Sometimes we put the blinders up and we forget and we don't realize. And like he said about people who get stuck in dealerships, who are stuck in doing it, it's the way we've always done it. It's the way I've always done it. It's just get that out of your vocab. Just because it was the way you've always done it, well, look where you're at. Is it helping? Are you growing? No, you're not. You're stuck. Whoop. So when you're stuck and there's a level line, it's time to do something different.
Well, Fred, not to interrupt you, but there's something that comes to mind is this. We make excuses. And I don't buy excuses, right? I don't buy excuses. The reason I don't buy excuses is because I started my business right when my wife, a month after she was diagnosed with breast cancer. She was diagnosed in September. She had her major surgery in November. By December, I made a decision that we're going to do this. So when somebody comes with me an excuse, I'm like, it's lame, right? And the sad part is we use our family as an excuse. Many times I talk to small business owners or people that want to be an aspiring entrepreneur. Well, my wife, my kids, that's why you should even do it even more, right? That's why you should go out there and do even more. But we use our family as an excuse. I had to pay bills too. Believe me. I left a job making almost $200,000 a year. Believe me, I know what it's like to need money. I've had the Rolexes, I've had the Corvette. Believe me, but that's not who I am. Those are just things that God has given me. But I realize it's not about Daniel anymore. But the amazing thing is, once I let go, God did more than what I could ever imagine. And now, this past Christmas, man, I took almost 3 weeks off because I had the luxury of doing it. Mm. But I say that because so many times you make these excuses and we play this dialogue in our mind, when it's out there in front of us, right? God says, step into the Jordan, I will receive the water. God doesn't say, I'll receive the water, then you step into the Jordan. But so many of us, what's keeping us from you in the promised land is you're scared to step into the water, and it takes an act of faith, and you have to have that faith, and you got to know that, hey, I'm not the CEO, God is. He's not going to lead me somewhere where he's not going to take care of me. And Fred, God wants you to know that there's another level for you, man, so stop holding back.
You're right, Daniel. Thank you, and I feel that, bro. Mm-hmm. I am not holding back. Be watching out. But anyway, that being said, I'm excited. I'm excited to have this conversation because honestly, all it does is just make me have even less fear. My fear is very minimal. Trust and believe. But it's giving me, having this confidence. That's why I talk about getting together, while we do our clubhouse meetings, while we do all these things, because the more people that get together that are on that same, like that mindset, like, hey, I want to grow, I want to do this. And then they hear the stories, and then they hear what's going on. They hear testimonies. Testimonials are so important because
that's what makes us overcomers.
It is. It's sometimes just hearing your partner, your friend, or somebody that you look up to tell a story that's similar to yours. And then you hear where they went through, and then you're like, but they're still growing and they're on top and you see them smiling and just talking all this positive stuff. You're like, wow, I'm inspired. And, that inspiration, some people take with them and they use it. Some people may just have inspiration for the moment, forget about it. But I try to do the first. I try to make sure that I take that inspiration and I use it and I go with it. And then I try to share with other people. I try to pass on what you say to other people. I try to do all that. And that's what we all do. Man, seriously, I'm so inspired by you right now. I don't even want to ask this fifth question because that's the last question.
Real quick.
I want to keep this going. Right?
I do want to show this off, everybody, that there's something that he tagged in there, and I'm just seeing it all pieced together. As Daniel is saying how he had to let go of things, right? Daniel, do me a quick favor. Hold your left hand up like that, right? And pull it down just a little bit. Pull it a little closer to your chin. There you go. Right there, right there. Okay, so he eventually let go. He let go. And then what got given back to him, open up your hand, is right above his hand. He let go, and then God put in front of him the Daniel Gomez show. You see that right there?
Inspires.
In front of his hand, above his hand, the Daniel Gomez show got released to him as he let go of what he was holding on to. You can put your hand down, bro. But that's exactly what's going on, right? He got given something else that was greater than when he humbled himself, when he put himself in a position that allowed him to be brought to a higher level. And that took a lot of trust, and that definitely took a shield of faith. And that's what he's using. That's the drum we're trying to hit, is faith over fear, people over profits, relationship over revenue, God over everything. Okay. The biggest thing that we're trying to make sure that we do is continue to fly to where we are created to fly. And there are great rewards inside of that, brother.
Speaking of great rewards, folks, this is going to be my fifth question. I really don't like getting to the end of this thing, but here, because I'm really having fun this morning. Fifth question for you, and it is, since you've been doing all this, since you've been coming up and things have been you've been inspiring others and you've been doing a lot of stuff. And I know that this answer could be a multitude of things, but what has been your greatest reward from all the work that you've put together in your life?
Oh man, my relationship with my family. And they know. After 3 months that my wife had her surgery, I was with my son, Julian. He's my little king, man. I love that kid, right? I love all my kids, but he's my consentido. And we were just there, and he goes, man, Dad, I'm having a good time. And I was just like, me being the joke, I said, what's up, punk? You weren't having a good time with me before? And he just cried. He goes, Dad, you weren't nice a lot of times. And I knew at that moment that I was on the right path. Man. And I knew at that moment, whatever I had to go through, I was going to go through it. I've cried. I've broken things. I'm not ashamed to say it, right? I'm human, man. But when my kids call me just to call me, not because they need money, they need anything. Hey, Dad, what are you doing? I'm just want to talk with you. What's going on? And we have these conversations, and we can be silly and really have that relationship with my kids, man. That's priceless, because so many children out there right now, teenagers, young adults, don't have that relationship with their family, and God restored my relationship with my wife, with my son, with my daughter, and my baby girl Alicia. Right? We were mad at each other. I think when all this was happening, I think we were mad at each other, but we're both the same person, so we always bumped heads, and it's just my family, man. It's just my kids are mean a lot to me, and I always put God, my family, and then work, and I live by that. And it's just my values, man. But I can say just the joy of having my son call me, and there was a point, like right, you see people are hearing this, like, yeah, this guy, whatever, right? But I'm gonna be honest, like there was a point that I was crying in the restroom, and I was 99.9% sure that I was gonna give up Fred and Duke. I was gonna give up. I said, why the hell am I struggling when I can go back to the automotive industry and make $250,000? Why am I struggling? And I was crying in the bathroom, and I said, but I had customers. I was making a little bit of revenue, but that was a tipping point for me. I walked outside, and I remember my son called me, and he goes, Dad, what's wrong? I said, nothing, I'm good. He goes, you're lying. I can hear it in your voice. And I tried to play it off because I was really crying, because I was just frustrated and angry, and just because, after you get so many no's, it takes a toll on you. But after I was really sure I was going to just give up and go home, my son is the one that motivated me and inspired me. He said, Dad, you're the one that says winners never quit. You're the ones that says quitters never win. Look in the mirror, Dad. I said, no, Julian. He goes, Dad, I'm not asking you. Look in the mirror. And my son's pretty stout now, right? He bench presses 350 pounds.
Oh, I've seen his pictures. He's got a chest on that kid like no other. I was
so he goes, he just, God spoke to him. He goes, I'm not asking you, Dad. Look in the mirror. And he walked me through what I had walked him through time and time again.
Wow.
Tell yourself I'm a winner, Dad. Tell yourself I'm a champion. And at that moment when I was going to give up, God brought my son into my day and he carried me through. And I didn't sell anything that day, which is okay, but I didn't go home. And that gave me the momentum to make it another day. Here we are. So believe me, I know what it's like to be at the bottom. I know what it's like to eat cereal with water. I know what it's like. So I don't take anything I have for granted. So I would say really, man, just my family is priority for me. And I've learned to respect them and respect my wife because many years I took my wife for granted and you just don't realize you're doing it. What you take for granted, you eventually lose sometimes.
That's right. What you don't honor, you will lose.
I love it. And that's touching, man. I mean, that really hit me right in the heart. Seriously, talking about your son like that, what he just did for you there. Wow. That's powerful. It is those things. We do say things like that and our kids listen, and so whether they're the right things, when you say stuff like, I am a champion, I am a winner, or I'm a loser, life is bad, we're never going to have good luck. Your kids hear that and they believe what you say. So make sure the words that you put out there are powerful because one day your kids are going to talk to you when you need it, just like Daniel. And when Daniel needed it, his son hit him with some knowledge, and that knowledge was poured down to him through his father.
He put a seed in him. You see
it's beautiful, but that's what you need, and that's the powerful part of love, of unconditional love. And I love that. I love your son for that. And he was so right on the money. I love how he put you in your place and said, Dad, look in the mirror right now. And man, to get you through another day, and that's sometimes all it is. Sometimes it's just we need to get through another hour. Sometimes it's just another minute. And when you have people, when you have family that you honor and they honor you back, and you instill the right core values in them, integrity, honesty, love, all these little things that are just so key, indomitable spirit, these things are so key in life. And to be able to instill that, and then they get to one day be the parent and instill that in you for a moment and help you move forward. That is a beautiful reward, man. I love that. I absolutely just love that. I totally, I'm not even excited, like, oh yeah, woo! I'm really like touched right now. Like that's how I feel, really touched. So thank you so much for sharing that, Daniel.
Full cycle, car guys, car gals, and all you solutionaries. Daniel put seeds out. Father gives seed to the sower. He put seed inside a good ground. The good ground was his son. He nurtured that seed. He watered that seed. And when the time came that Daniel had to take a bite of that fruit that his son grew, his son had coming off of him, it was available for Daniel when he needed it.
Yes.
So it's so important that you sow the right seeds. It's so important that you sow with intention. In the face of your children, you let them know that you need them too. And that's the greatest part of honor that I believe is happening inside of this legacy of growth that we are bringing forth to the industry, is that we're no longer trying to impede somebody else's growth so that we can rise just above them. We are now trying to find a way to get everybody tooled up and focused on growing together.
Yes.
Rising together. And guess what? The generation behind us, if we have too much pride to let them feed us when we need it, we're not going to continuously grow. And that's what Daniel is bringing. That's what the subprime hero is bringing. That's what the solutionaries that are rising are bringing. We are sowing seeds so that we can have the fruit to be able to share with everybody that needs it. We want to be able to give to any good work that needs it. We want to be able to speak life, because a lot of times that's what turns around everything. You can fix a lot of problems with a check, folks, but the entire cosmos was put in order by a word. Just by a word, everything was put into action. So you can change somebody's total trajectory in life if you are strong enough to go forward with a shield of faith and speak words that inspire, like our friend Daniel Gomez. So honored that you have come, blessed this mic, poured into our cups, and we are sipping it up. I can't wait to listen to this again and again and again and again, and just to talk with you a little bit more, because, brother, what you're given, so many need to have. And again, you don't need my validation. The Father identifies you. You don't need 10 other podcasts validation. The Father identifies you, right? You just bring what it is that you were given, take your talents, invest them different places, and watch the reward come. And man, it's going to be so fruitful, so awesome. But that son, father is another announcement, folks. You got to dig into this. You got to dig into this. When the hearts of the sons turn to the fathers, the unveiling is on its way, folks, and I'm pumped up about it. The earth is on tiptoe, and I'm having fun brewing solutions with all of these incredible solutionaries. My brother is back, and I'm so pumped up that we are doing what we're doing with all of you. Daniel, man, I won't shut up because of how excited I am about what you poured into us, brother. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for having me, guys, man. I'll tell you what, and I just love people. And something that, just when you really get out of your own way, I just got a email this morning from Chartable. I was in the top 100 in Norway and Europe, and I was going to post that here, but I was just to not be able to, right? Sometimes we get the vision so small that we just want to impact the sales team and we want to impact our dealerships and we're the GM. But when God says, you know what, you've been faithful with the little, I'm going to give you more. And we got top 200 in the United States. The next thing you know, today I got that notification, top 60, right? We were number 60. I took a picture of it in Norway and Europe. So it's like the Daniel Gomez Inspire show is going international, and it's like it's just epic, man. It's just epic. And to be a best-selling author, right? This is my new book, Sticker Shock. You can go to Amazon right now. This is for dealerships, right?
Hold that up to the screen. Hold that up a little further. Bam.
Leveraging confidence and success in the car business, sales, and life. If you have some new sales professionals that need some direction, y'all need to buy this book. Because without confidence, you're not going to win in the car business.
Boom.
Without confidence, you're not going to win in life.
Fact.
And I can tell you just the reviews that we've gotten has been amazing. And it's just been one of those things it came out and COVID happened. So it kind of stayed on the shelf for a while. But I'll tell you, if you get a copy, Sticker Shock, right? The moment most people don't succeed because they undervalue who they are. But when you realize how much value you have and God loves you, the sky's the limit.
Well,
dude,
it is the limit.
That book, Sticker Shock, folks, go check it out. Love the title, for one.
Yes.
Awesome title, especially for Car Guy, right? That's the best title in the world. I am going to go check that. I'm going to order that book as soon as we get off here today. Daniel, I'm going to read that. I'm going to read that thing. And Daniel, we're going to meet very soon, and I want you to sign my book.
Yes.
And it's got to be a special message. Right? So I'm excited, man.
How can they get a hold of you? I mean,
what's the best way to get a hold of you?
Man, my brand is Daniel Gomez Inspires. You can find me here on LinkedIn at Daniel Gomez, on Facebook, on Twitter, and on my YouTube page is Daniel Gomez Inspires. Pinterest, Daniel Gomez Inspires. I have a big following on Pinterest, believe it or not. And those boards work. So if you want to grow your social media, you definitely need to get a Pinterest account. And you can go to DanielGomezGlobal.com. That's DanielGomezGlobal.com. And just send me a message. We definitely want to connect with you and give your audience, if someone needs help, we do give a complimentary 45-minute discovery session. And you can go to Meet, right? Go to bit.ly/Meet Daniel Gomez. That's bit.ly/Meet Daniel Gomez, and schedule your 45-minute consultation for free. I love giving value, right? You can't outgive God. And I'll tell you what, man, I just love adding value. So tune into our show. It's on iTunes, Spotify, everywhere else. And just if you Google Daniel Gomez Inspires, I'll come up. So you'll see all my handles there. And I just love people. So whatever I can give out, man, for nothing, I love to do that. So thank you so much for having me, Fred and Lou. Man, it was a blessed time. I really, really enjoyed it. And Fred, just don't tell Lou I'm going to sign your book first, okay? Whatever you do, don't tell him.
That's right. Hey, we just said it right here, folks. Get my book signed first. Oh! All right. I'm a champion this morning. I am super confident, ready to go into the day, super inspired by Daniel Gomez, man.
Just don't tell Lou, though. Don't tell Lou, okay?
I won't tell him, I promise.
Tell me what?
That's a secret. Man, folks, you guys see the website right down there. Go check him out. Get inspired. This guy is all about everything, and he will help you grow. It's not just about the car business. If you're out there and you're in business, if you just need a life coach, man, reach out to this guy. I promise you, he has a way to help energize and caffeinate the way that you need to go through life. That's right.
So, all you car guys and car gals that have to get on to your day, go ahead and put something inside of your cup that gets you energized and ready to wake up. This morning, we have been taking on the challenges of our day, using our tongues of truth and making sure that we are going forward with our friend Daniel Gomez with a shield of faith. Can't tell you how much that'll help you get over sticker shock as you go and attack the world, paying the price that it takes to succeed.
Oh, yeah.
I am Lou Ramirez, the car guy.
And I'm Fred Lenartz, the subprime hero.
Woo! We can't tell you how inspired we are.
Man.
Aspire to inspire. Daniel Gomez, inspires.com. Make sure you go get you some of that. You also need to get you something else that'll inspire you with the good aromas of caffeinated consistency. Go to carguycoffee.com. Drink up some of those solutions we're brewing. Once again, thank you, Daniel Gomez, for brewing with us. Let's brew, everybody.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all for being out here today.
Love you all.
Daniel, if you could hold on 1 second once we get off here, I want to just get a little bit more from you. And then, but folks, go out, reach out, appreciate. Have a great week.
Say bye, Daniel.
We'll see y'all Thursday morning. Peace out.
Woo!
All right, folks. That was the best show ever. I mean, I had a blast. I mean, I totally am inspired. I'm excited.